Welcome to Journey into Thunder. Today I want to be talking to you about why I collect, what I collect, and what's going to be my goal. I'd also talk to you about how do I get into the hobby, what's coming up on my channel, so let's get into it. So the three things I'm going to talk to you today is about how I got into the hobby, why I collect, and what's actually going to be my goal. I'm a very goal orientated person, so I think it's really important to kind of understand why you're doing something. But let's start at the beginning. So how did I get into the hobby? So I actually started reading comics probably in my early teens because I found it quite difficult to read books because I'm dyslexic. So actually reading lots of books, books in pages, I actually always got distracted and I felt as though I would get halfway down the page and just give up. So I actually started to try and read some X-Men comics, and actually that really helped. Actually kind of complete things because it was much easier to kind of follow with pictures and words next to it. Also painted a picture in my head. So that was kind of my first introduction. Then I stopped reading when I kind of went to university, and then kind of fell by the wayside. And then I was introduced back again into comics probably 10 years later when I met my wife, and my wife was very interested in the Walking Dead series, and she actually kind of asked me to start watching it with her in probably series 5. And I then went all the way back to the beginning to start watching it again. But actually, I found out that there was a Walking Dead comic. So I bought a couple of the trade paperbacks to then start reading them to find out what the original storyline was. And that's what really kind of got me going into the world of comics. I then unknowingly, my wife actually bought me a comic from Universal. Very lucky that she gets to travel the world with her job. And I actually got one of the Thor adaptation comics. And that was kind of my first introduction into the world of collecting, because I'd always liked the character Thor. Always loved the character Thor. So hence the reason why she bought it for me. I then started to look up and understand about the world of Thor. So I started to find out about Journey into Mystery, all the different volumes. So I then started to think, okay, well, I want to read all of these, but how am I going to start? Where am I going to start? So I always thought, right, you always start at the beginning. So I thought, okay, well, what's the first Thor? So technically, Journey into Mystery 83. I wanted to start to there, but then I started to do some more research and found out that it's very expensive. And I was thinking, oh God, how am I going to start to read these things? So I then started to create a bit of a list of what I wanted to try and purchase over time, and then go from there. So hence that kind of leads on to what's my goal. So my goal really in the long term is to collect all of the Thor books, so the main Thor titles, so Journey into Mystery, Volume 1 Thor, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Also collect the annuals, so the Thor annuals, and some of the other kind of offshoots series like God of Thunder, Son of Asgard, those kind of things as well. I have also been starting to collect Thor covers, so I'll be sharing some of those as well on the channel. And I also want to talk about how I collect. So what are the things I do? What are the different collecting devices? So in terms of like eBay, in terms of Comic Collect, different auction sites, going to conventions, all those kind of things. So those are the things that I want to kind of start to share with you. But I'll just give you a couple of my kind of big moments in my kind of comic collecting. First time I went to MegaCon, which for all those guys that don't know, MegaCon is in Orlando. I was actually on a holiday in Orlando, again, due to my wife being working in an amazing industry. And actually, we were sitting round by the pool, and there was an advertisement on the TV saying that there was MegaCon happening. And I'd never been to a comic convention before, whether that was in the UK or in America. So I thought, okay, well, let's give it a go. I mean, I bet you the American style of doing things, the Big Bang, I bet it would be amazing, and why not do it in America? So I went to it for the first time. It was an assault on the senses, to say the least, but it was absolutely amazing. I picked up a couple of comics there. That was really probably before I started collecting, so I didn't really have my plan of what I wanted to collect. So that was my first big introduction into the kind of comic convention experience. And one of the other things which I started to do was I started to read Invincible. So that's another one of my kind of passions. So you've got Thor and then Invincible. I just love the story. So I bought the trade paperbacks of Invincible, and that was actually one of my kind of favourite, it's probably my favourite story of all time, to be honest with you. So I've been collecting those, and again, I'll be talking about how I'm collecting those, where I am in my collecting journey with them. So I'll be showing some of those. Again, some of my favourite characters. Battle Beast is definitely one of them. So I'd like to introduce you to some of those kind of characters, and also really encourage you to try reading Invincible, whether that's through the trade paperbacks or through the big compendiums, or even purchasing the individual issues. That's the kind of thing I want to talk to you about. So that's me. I'm going to be sharing some of my books soon. What's coming up? So I'm going to be hopefully trying to do 2 shows a week about different things, about where I am in my Thor collecting, where I am in my Invincible collecting. I'm going to show you about how I collect, so in terms of where I purchase, and hopefully give you some hints and tips along the way of really focusing on your goals, because that's the one thing which I want to help. As I say, I only collect 2 real characters, or 2 kind of series, shall we say, Thor and Invincible. So I'm not somebody who kind of vastly collects lots of different things. So I want to show you about how I focus on that goal. What are the things that I do to try and achieve that? So that's kind of where I am. If you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe. It really helps me, and please leave a comment. Talk to me about what you collect, any hints and tips to also help me. And so I hope you enjoy the content moving forward. Thank you very much. Bye bye.